Manchester United need at least one new centre-back this summer. I'm pretty sure all of the fans agree. If we want to be this side which plays the ball out from the back, controls and dominates possession, presses high with a high line, we simply need a new centre-back, because the ones currently at the club can't really perform that role. So today we are looking at 4 different centre-backs which Manchester United could sign this summer. Now we're not taking into consideration squad depth and things like that. We are looking for a starter to play alongside Lisandro Martinez next season. So we're going to start off with the most expensive option and then work our way down. So the first option is Antonio Silva, the Portuguese centre-back currently playing for Benfica. One of the hottest prospects in world football, one of the best young centre-backs literally anywhere in the world. He's brilliant in possession and out of possession, but I'm guessing you guys want a little bit more detail than that in terms of what his strengths and weaknesses are. So we will start off with his strengths. Playing the ball out from the back, this guy is super composed. Granted, not someone who's going to dribble past a striker, like someone like Lisandro Martinez might do at times, but still super composed with the ball at his feet, playing out from the back. And importantly, also two-footed. So when he is pressed, he is able to shift the ball onto either foot, giving him double the amount of options, making it twice as difficult to press him, making him a very effective player in this first phase. But the thing which impresses me the most is his ball retention, and again, just that aura of calmness and composure which he possesses on the ball. Super calm. And it's the same higher up the pitch as well. So when you are trying to break down the opposition, Silva, once again, very good in possession. And also, at times, quite progressive. He particularly likes a long ball over the top of the opposition high press, really effective. But in general, he is more of a short passer, someone who's going to keep the ball moving, a tempo setter, if you like, at the heart of the defence. Very good on the ball, and in terms of his retention passing, he's genuinely top quality. Very good at keeping the ball for his side, moving it side to side. Couple that with someone like Lisandro Martinez, who prefers to be a bit more progressive and expressive, that makes for a really nice dynamic. And I do think that on the ball, these two would be a very good pairing. Silva's qualities don't stop there, because he's also decent out of possession as well. Decent's harsh. He's very good out of possession as well. He can play in a team which uses a high line. Granted, he doesn't have the best recovery pace in the world, but what he will often use is his pure intelligence to read the situation, be there before the danger has ever really started, to snuff out any sort of problem which the opposition might create. He's also a very decent 1 versus 1 defender in wide areas. Now, this isn't necessarily something you would expect, because as I've said already, he's not the quickest, he's not the most powerful, he's not the strongest. But he is, again, very composed in these 1 versus 1 situations, very agile, able to quickly turn with the opposition, and it makes him really good at defending these areas. Of course, there is a weakness, as there is with any player, but particularly such a young player. The weakness for Silva, in my opinion, would be 1, slight lapses of concentration and errors at the back, which we do expect from a young player. The other concern would be his aerial ability. Particularly paired alongside Lisandro Martinez, that could be a bit of a concern. Again, I would expect him to improve in this area. As he grows and develops and learns, I think he will get better at it. But, say, next season, it would maybe be a little bit of a concern. But in terms of, in general, Antonio Silva is a quality player, which I'm very confident Manchester United will be watching. Staying in the Portuguese league, another centre-back which I am pretty sure Manchester United will be watching is Ousmane Diomande, the Ivory Coast international who plays for Sporting Lisbon, currently top of the Portuguese league. Now this, once again, is one of the best young centre-backs around. A little bit cheaper, I would imagine, than Antonio Silva, but still quite a hefty price. We're still talking north of £65 million. But again, you are getting what you pay for. He is absolutely quality. And again, we will go through the possession phase and then the out of possession phase. In terms of playing out from the back, arguably a little bit better than Antonio Silva. He doesn't have the same aura of calmness about him, but what he does have is really good close control and the ability, a little bit like Lisandro Martinez, to actually beat a man, to at times receive with his back to play with a striker on his back. He will receive this ball and then genuinely possess the ability to take them on to beat them, which is quite a rare trait in young centre-backs. Diomande is very good at doing this. He's very comfortable at the back, playing the ball out from these danger areas. In fact, for Sporting Lisbon, he'll often actually step a little bit higher into midfield, inside of a back three like this, being this first phase receiver. He's very good in these areas. He's also good when it comes to progressing the play a little bit higher up the pitch. At Sporting, there is a big emphasis on the wider centre-backs at times being the progressive outlets for the side. And Diomande, at times this season, has performed that role incredibly well. He loves, once again, to take people on. He loves to be a strong ball carrier, but he's also a very good progressive passer as well. I would like to see him add long passes to his mix a little bit more. When he does do them, he tends to be pretty successful. I'd just like to see him on a more regular basis, because he's got the tool. Why not use it? I do think that long range passing ability is very, very useful at the top level, and I think it is something I would like to see Diomande use. But certainly in possession, again, paired with Lisandro Martinez, you are getting yourself quality. There wouldn't be many centre-back pairings which are better in terms of in possession. Out of possession, once again, is where some of the question marks come in a little bit more. Diomande is a different profile to Antonio Silva. A bit more powerful, a bit more robust and muscular. However, he's still not perhaps as quick as you would like. Again, he is quicker than Antonio Silva, allowing him to get wide into these spaces to cover large areas of the pitch, but not to the elite level. In terms of 1v1 defence, again, he's got the physical tools, where in 2 to 3 years he could be elite in this department. But right now, again, Antonio Silva does have the edge over him a little bit. But I guess that is what you get when you pay a little bit less money. A slightly more raw prospect, a raw profile. But in terms of pure quality, it's quite clearly there in abundance. The potential on this guy is, the sky is the limit, is probably the best saying for him. He could go on to be one of the best centre-backs in the world. He can play on the right side of the back three, the middle, or on the left-hand side. Very versatile, very good. Again, in terms of in possession, this would be a top-level defence. Out of possession, again, aerial ability is a slight question mark. Lapses of concentration, a slight question mark. So, again, there's positives and there's negatives.
So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFifa.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFifa for 10% off when you order.
Another player with slightly different strengths and negatives is Bremer, who currently plays for Juventus over in Italy. A player heavily linked with a move to Manchester United over the past couple of weeks because he reportedly has a £43 million release clause. So you can see, quite a bit cheaper than the previous two options. What are his strengths? What are his weaknesses? To be honest, almost the reverse of the other guys. Defensively, very, very good. In possession, a few more question marks. So we will start with his strengths because I think he's a good player. This is a physical powerhouse, old school, old-fashioned, get the job done sort of centre-back. Now, I don't mean to limit his abilities by saying that. He's a very good player. But that profile is that old school, going into the battles and things like that. What he particularly loves is trying to read the play, nip in front of the opposition with a big, strong, powerful tackle, almost bulldozing the opposition out of the way to get the ball back for his side, and then he'll play from there. But this doesn't mean he's some big, clunky guy. He's also very quick. Very quick. He's a bit like a freight train in a way that he covers channels and tracks back for his side. So should a ball be put into a channel like this, Bremer is well equipped to deal with this situation. If you imagine at United, perhaps Lisandro Martinez was the middle centre-back, Shaw tucked in from left-back. As the opposition look to transition and counter-attack, Bremer is made to deal with these situations. He's so quick, but then of course once he catches up with the player, he's got that strength to just barge them off the ball. His tackling technique is very, very good. He's unbelievably good in these areas, to be honest. Actually very underrated. I really like him. Somewhere else where I really like him is in his box defence. Dealing with crosses coming into the box because, again, he's got those traits of being this big, strong, physical guy. Decent reading of the game from what I have seen, although the sample size is a little bit small for me personally. But dealing with crosses coming into the box, he gets his head on most things, he heads the ball away, he deals with it. He commands his box, really. He is a box general, I would argue. He really leads the back line, not necessarily with his voice, but just with his defensive performances. A little bit like Rafael Varane in that particular way, the box defence. He's really good at it. The weaknesses, however, are an issue, and they come in possession. Now, this may be due to the fact that he is limited by the Allegri Juventus system. It's not exactly prime tiki-taka football, is it? So it doesn't get the best out of ball-playing players, and it doesn't allow you to see their full potential. Bremer may well have been someone who has suffered as a consequence of that. Because in terms of in possession, I do have my question marks. I think he's solid on the ball, I think he's pretty technically secure, but at the moment, not much more than that. He's not someone who regularly drives the ball past players, carries it past them. He's not someone who's always going to fire passes through the lines. He's not someone who's going to absorb a lot of pressure out the back to create room for someone else. Not really his game. So again, defensively, a wonderful player. Very, very good. And I would like to see him in the Premier League, to be honest, for a different test. I think he's really good in this way. On the ball is where I have my question marks. Again, maybe he's just being restricted by the system he is in, but I'm not entirely convinced by that side of his game. But again, take this with a pinch of salt, because I haven't seen as much of Bremer as what I have the other guys, so perhaps you might correct me in the comments. If you know a lot about Bremer, get in the comments down below and let me know what you think. Am I being a little bit harsh with his on-the-ball side? Am I being generous with his defensive stuff? Let me know what you think. Bremer, again, a cheaper option, one which you could go get for the release clause, which makes business a little bit easier, takes away some of the months and months of discussion which we're used to. So again, another genuinely very good option to improve the defensive ability of this Manchester United team. And then we have our final option, Todibo of Nice. Now, just to clarify, I said final option, the final option for this video. There are hundreds of centre-backs out there. The market is incredible this year. This is the perfect time to go get yourself a good right-sided centre-back. But the last option for today's video is Todibo, currently playing for Nice, the French international. We know a lot about him because we've covered him quite a lot. A lot of people are watching him, and he would probably be the cheapest of the players on this list. Not drastically cheap, probably, 3 to 5 to 8 million pound cheaper than what Bremer would be. 35 to 40 million pound ish, I would expect. And you might think because he's the cheapest, he is therefore the worst, but I don't think that's the case. He actually excels in a lot of areas, starting with the ball at his feet, playing out from the back. Again, not necessarily someone who possesses the same calmness and the composure and the aura of Antonio Silva, or perhaps the dribbling ability of Diomande, but he is very, very comfortable in the ball, very technically secure, and he is happy to play his way out from the back. He is someone who can absorb the pressure, putting his foot on the ball, waiting for someone to come towards him before he releases it to someone else. Very, very good at playing out from the back. He can also play out from the back due to his passing range, whether that be, forward passes into these areas or longer passes into his wider winger, or he can carry the ball out from the back. This is where I actually really like him. As the opposition player will come in, he'll then kind of use this decoy as he stands there, and then he quickly bursts forward, using his acceleration, but also just his massive frame to power his way past the opposition. I like him in that way. I also like him a little bit higher up the pitch in possession as well. Someone who, again in my opinion, can be a centre-back which dictates and controls the tempo of a game. Now, I do think he needs to develop that a little bit, because at times he does slow it down a little bit too much. I think the top centre-backs have that ability to inject that little bit of pace when it's needed. Todibo needs to work on that a little bit, but he's definitely got all the tools. Again, his ball carrying ability is phenomenal in these areas. He can progressive pass through the lines. He can do safe passing. He can do it all as long as he's coached in the right way. You're getting yourself a top player. He's also very decent out of possession as well, particularly defending in a high line. He can be strong and robust going towards the opposition, being strong in a tackle, or he can cover the channels. A very good channel defender with that brilliant stride length, the upper body, the acceleration. Although, once in those 1-versus-1 situations, I would like to see a little bit of improvement. Again, he's got the profile to be top at it, but he's just not at the moment, so something for him to work on. And in terms of something else for him to work on, the box defence. Not the best aerial player, someone who can have a slight lapse of concentration at the back a little bit, which would maybe be concerning us alongside someone like Lisandro Martinez, who can have some similar traits. So it would be a concern. But again, this is the cheapest option, so you are perhaps going to lose out on certain areas. The box defence isn't quite as good. The in-possession stuff is very good. Very, very good. He's a great channel defender, things like that. So once again, Todibo is a brilliant option. We're not going to talk about him too much though, because we've spoken about him plenty of times in the past. But those 4 options have all been linked to Manchester United. They're all slightly different prices. You can see the price range. But I think they're all great options. I think they're all great players, which United should definitely keep watching further. Let me know which one you would like United to sign in the summer, though, by getting into the comments down below. Or perhaps you have a different suggestion as well. A Lenny Yoro, a Jared Branthwaite, someone like that. Let me know what you think in the comments, but apart from that, we are finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.